All right, so today our focus is on chapters 8 and 9, and we begin here at the bottom of page 29 for chapter 8. It is entitled Two More Golden Tickets Found. That evening, Mr. Bucket's newspaper announced the finding of not only the third golden ticket, but the fourth as well. Two golden tickets were found today, screamed the headlines. Only one more left. All right, said Grandpa Joe when the whole family was gathered in the old people's room after supper. Let's hear who found them. The third ticket, read Mr. Bucket, holding the newspaper close to his face because his eyes were bad and he couldn't afford glasses. The third ticket was found by Mrs. Violet Brigade. There was great excitement in the Brigade household when our reporter arrived to interview the lucky young lady. Cameras were clicking and flashbulbs were flashing and people were pushing and jostling and trying to get a bit closer to the famous girl. And the famous girl was standing on a chair in the living room, waving the golden ticket madly at arm's length as though they were flagging a taxi. She was talking very fast and very loudly to everyone, but it was not easy to hear all that she said because she was chewing so ferociously upon a piece of gum at the same time. I'm a gum chewer normally, she shouted, but when I heard about these ticket things of Mr. Wonka, I laid off the gum and switched to candy bars in hope of striking luck. Now, of course, I'm right back on gum. I just adore gum. I can't do without it. I munch it all day except for a few minutes at meal times when I take it out and stick it behind my ear for safekeeping. To tell you the honest truth, I simply couldn't feel comfortable if I didn't have a little wedge of gum to chew on every moment of the day. I really wouldn't. My mother says it's not ladylike and it looks ugly to see girls' jaws going up and down like mine do all the time, but I don't disagree. But I don't agree. I say to her, jaws are going up and down almost as much as, sorry. I say to her that her jaws are going up and down almost as much as mine are from yelling at me every minute of the day. Now, Violet, Mrs. Brigade said from the far corner of the room, where she was standing on her piano, trying to avoid being trampled by the mob. All right, question number one says, what phrase from the text best supports the meaning of the word jostling? So I'm going back up into the text to find that word jostling. And so it's already underlined for me. But I need to read not just the word, but around the word in order to get a better understanding of that word. So I'm just going to box it out because the letters are a little bit tight. So it says there was great excitement in the Brigade household when our reporter arrived to interview the young lady. Cameras were clicking, um, flash bulbs were flashing, and people were pushing and jostling, trying to get closer to the famous girl. So they were pushing and doing something else, and they're doing all of that to get close to the girl. A says that she was talking very fast and very loudly. So as I look at what's going on in that situation, that's not what's happening in that situation. I can go ahead and annotate off to the side what is actually happening. There is pushing, right? And it also says they were trying to get next to the famous girl. They wanted to get close. All right. So as I'm looking at my answer choices, I want to look for things that go along with the things that we have just written down. It says B, I am a gum chewer normally. That is definitely something that is said in the text a little bit later on, but not in this section right here where the reporters and other people are with the girl. C, people are trying to get a bit closer to the famous girl. So they're pushing, and that other word, jostling. So maybe jostling has something to do with trying to get next to her. And then D, the famous girl was standing on a chair on the living room, in her living room area. While this is something that is true, it doesn't explain what the people were doing in that sentence. The best answer that explains what the people were doing is showing me that they were trying to get a bit closer to the famous girl. Next question says, what is the meaning of the word trampled on page 31? So they tell me exactly where to go, and it's already written out for you there. It's underlined. So I'm focused here on this bottom part. It says, now Violet, Mrs. Bourget said from a far corner of the room where she was standing on the piano to avoid being trampled by the mob. So mom is standing on the piano. She's trying to avoid being trampled by the mob. The mob is the group of people that we talked about here on page 30, the people that are flashing the lights for the cameras and the reporters, these people that were jostling and pushing, trying to get closer. Mom is trying to avoid being trampled by the mob, being with all those people who are pushing and shoving, trying to get closer. So, which answer is going to go along with mom trying to avoid all of the people that are around her daughter right now? And I can go ahead and tag that here. All right, so trying to avoid all the people that want to be near. A, knocked over. So, mom, let's look at the answer. She was standing on the piano trying to not be knocked over by the mob. She was standing on the piano trying to avoid being robbed by the mob. Are they trying to knock her over? Or are they trying to rob her, take her things? Are they trying to tickle her? Or are they trying to chase her out? Our best answer choice is she's trying not to be knocked over from all of those people that are trying to get near, all of that pushing and shoving that happens because there is a large crowd. All right, your job now is to read pages 31 through 36. After you read those pages, then you may go ahead and answer the rest of the questions. Do your absolute best work.